It's the week leading up to May the 4th, which means nerds and geeks everywhere are talking about the Star Wars franchise. This week, we are ranking all of the trilogies leading up to May 4th. We've already done the original trilogy. Hi, my name's Zach. We're here to talk about the prequel trilogy. Before we get started, like many of you, I started this YouTube channel because I cannot watch a movie without needing to talk about it afterwards. And if that sounds like you, you're in the right place. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, I want this to be a dialogue, a conversation between me and you. So leave me your ranking of the prequel trilogy down in the comment section below. Did you grow up with these films? Did you hate these films when they originally came out? Give me some context down there. Let me know. With all that out of the way, let's get started with my list. Star Wars The Phantom Menace, one of the most anticipated movies of all time. Also one of the greatest disappointments of all times. Where in Star Wars, it feels like George Lucas is pulling from things he enjoys in life, like fantasy and mythology, Flash Gordon, and serials. When it comes to The Phantom Menace, it feels like George Lucas was in a little bit of a political place in his life. Or maybe he wanted to voice his opinions on some of the world leaders going on at that time. I don't know, because The Phantom Menace is very odd when it comes to Star Wars. It feels like, in a lot of ways, George Lucas lost the plot. He lost what people enjoyed about Star Wars. We don't come for trade negotiations and talking in circles, these monks. There's just a lot of odd choices found in The Phantom Menace, especially when you compare it to the previous trilogy. There are some things that I do quite enjoy in The Phantom Menace as well. Everything that happens on Tatooine when Qui-Gon Jinn is finding Anakin Skywalker, I personally really love all that. I love that story of Anakin having to leave his mother to become a Jedi, the toll that is on Anakin. There's a really great goodbye sequence that goes on between Anakin and his mom as he has to leave and go with Qui-Gon. It's honestly pretty heartbreaking to watch whenever I go back and rewatch The Phantom Menace. Of course, you've got the pod racing sequence in here, which is a pretty fun sequence and was very innovative when it first came out in 1999. The effects for it and the CGI also hold up incredibly well. ILM did a phenomenal job in that sequence. Of course, Darth Maul fight at the end of this with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Very fun fight. Everything else surrounding this film is really just a big question mark on why did George Lucas think this is what Star Wars fans wanted? Why did he think we wanted so much political talk? Why did he think we wanted to see a 9-year-old get together with, what was she, like 14, 15-year-old Natalie Portman? Just very odd decisions in The Phantom Menace, even though I'm a fan of the Anakin and Padme romance. We'll talk about that later. But very odd decisions nonetheless that come out of The Phantom Menace. I don't think The Phantom Menace is a complete train wreck. I don't think it's an awful Star Wars film. There are parts of it I do enjoy, but there's also a lot of parts in it that I skip whenever I do a rewatch of the film. And for our runner-up, Star Wars Attack of the Clones. An unpopular opinion, as I am a little bit of a defender of this film. Do I think it's a great film? No, but I think there are great things in it. And while I think the execution gets muddled and messy, isn't done very well, it ruins those great things. It doesn't help that I can still see the great things in it. When it comes to Anakin Skywalker's character, particularly in this film, I've always resonated with his frustration. The way that Hayden Christensen acts that frustration isn't always the greatest at times, but when you look at this character that from A Phantom Menace was taken as a child at 9 years old by Qui-Gon Jinn, told he was going to be this great thing, and he grows up in this environment where he's told he's got this great potential, and the entire time he's there, he's not allowed to live up to what he believes he can. Also, the romance that comes between him and Padme, I do find sweet. Do Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman have the best chemistry all the time? No, they don't. But there are moments there where I do find their relationship kind of cute. I do find that they have some fun chemistry to them. Everything involving Anakin and his mom, again, coming off of Phantom Menace after that departure that they had, saying goodbye. When he finds out she's been taken by the Tusken Raiders, he goes to try to save her, loses her, and then takes his rage out on the Tusken Raiders. I think there's some really great stuff to come out of all of those sequences that leads into Revenge of the Sith as that becomes Anakin's main motivator for going to the dark side, is the fact that he has lost the love of his life. He can't lose another one. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in a minute here. Also, Hugh McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I always love seeing him on screen as Obi-Wan Kenobi. The fact that he's got this little side quest going on in the background of this film. I enjoy Hugh McGregor doing his little investigation, finding everything out about the clones, even if it's kind of dumb, not that smartly written of an investigation as it could be. There's also some fun lightsaber battles in here. The whole battle taking place on Geonosis with all of the Jedi taking out all of the droids. Have a lot of fun with that. There's also a lot that holds the Attack of the Clones back from being great. The dialogue's not great. I do feel like as much as I enjoy the Geonosis scene, as soon as that scene ends, this movie overstays its welcome. I get kind of bored. I think the Count Dooku fight at the end with Anakin is probably the worst lightsaber fight that's ever occurred in Star Wars. The Yoda fight between Count Dooku is fun, though, and the movie is just really long. Too much plots, too much going on. And in the second movie of a trilogy where we're trying to tell the story of how Anakin Skywalker goes to the dark side, becomes Darth Vader, they spend way too much time in Attack of the Clones on non-necessary things that make that story feel like it's not being pushed as far as it should be by the time we're at the second film in the trilogy. So, Attack of the Clones, I get everyone's complaints. I understand if you personally have it at the very bottom of your list. For me, I've always been able to find little nuggets of greatness, or at least goodness, in this one that puts it above a Phantom Menace for me personally, and I'm a little bit of a defender of it. But I'll still never say it's a great movie. Which is going to bring us to our number one, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. A Star Wars movie that pretty much has all the flaws and the faults of the previous films in the prequel trilogy, but at the same time does what it needs to do to make me love it. Because while Revenge of the Sith still has some clunky dialogue, it still has some moments where there's more going on in the story than is necessary, that is distracting and taken away from the central story we're here to see of Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. As someone who likes to see where the Anakin character is going in Attack of the Clones, the way that his arc wraps up in Revenge of the Sith, I think is actually really good, really emotionally compelling, because in Attack of the Clones, when he's having those visions about his mother dying and eventually he's unable to save her, she does die. As those visions start to happen with Padme, as he's just learned that she's pregnant, he's starting to put all of these doubts in the Jedi that is being fed to him by Palpatine, that when it comes to his turn of Darth Vader with the promise that Palpatine could save the one that he loves in Padme, as if he becomes part of the dark side. He falls into it. He falls into the temptation. The dark side has a hold on him. He's now Palpatine's puppet, and he becomes Darth Vader. The way that they are able to tell that story throughout Revenge of the Sith is my favorite part of Revenge of the Sith. The stuff that goes on with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the background, with General Grievous, is fun. Like I said, I love seeing Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan on screen, so I'll take a side quest with him, even if it distracts a little bit. Order 66 is also a very devastating sequence as Palpatine's plan finally comes into place and the clones turn on all the Jedi. The massacre, the genocide that takes place during that sequence, you really do feel it. George Lucas does a good job of letting the emotions of that moment resonate with you. They also do a good job at the beginning of the film kind of repairing the mistakes they made between Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship in Attack of the Clones, where they do have camaraderie. They do come across as friends at the beginning of the film as they're going off to rescue Chancellor Palpatine, to the point that at the end on the planet of Mustafar, after they've had their epic lightsaber battle, when Obi-Wan looks at Anakin as he's burning to death, so he thinks, and says, "You are my brother, I love you," those words resonate. I feel them. The prequel trilogy is a bumpy ride. It doesn't do everything exactly right, but the moments that they get right really do work for me. And Revenge of the Sith is the crowning jewel of the prequel trilogy. I will happily go back and rewatch Revenge of the Sith anytime, anywhere. I love the color palette of this film. I love the lightsaber battles. I love the conflicts going on between all the characters. And as this wraps up and we get Hayden Christensen in that Darth Vader suit, and we're setting the stage of where the original trilogy takes off, as a fan, I feel emotionally satisfied. Despite how bumpy the road was to get there, once we get there, I'm happy. So it comes in at number 1. If you like videos like this, I've got a Star Wars ranking playlist right up there that you can check out. As mentioned before, I got the original trilogy done in there. Also, right down there is the most recent video uploaded to the channel that you can check out. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. We talk about movies on here all the time. We'd love to have you join us. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't just watch movies, talk movies. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.